Inertia, passiveness, and fear stop many from finding happiness, achieving their goals, and fulfilling their purpose in life. One psychologist is hoping to change that with her message of power and personal responsibility. Her name is Susan Jeffers. The book is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And you're listening to Lit Society. Let's get lit. This is Kari.
And this is Alexis.
And you're listening to Lit Society, a show about books and drama. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Yeah, good.
Shall I tell you about things that I've done this week?
Please, tell me.
So, I got to tell you, I like ping pong, and there's a ping pong board at our office.
That's what I expected you to say.
So, listen. They had a competition on Friday, a tournament. And it wasn't major.
A ping pong tournament.
Yeah, ping pong tournament.
With lawyers. Or whoever works in the building.
Whoever wanted to do it. This wasn't our specific firm.
Wow, this sounds like so much fun.
I love ping pong, let me assure you. Okay. So I got to get into a rousing game with one of the new people. Now I played ping pong on a table. I just kind of hit it back and forth with this guy, and that helps me. But this time I got to play with somebody that was really hitting it
good.
To me.
Yeah, there was a good volley going.
Was so excited. No, I always have a good volley. Oh, okay. But this one was energetic. He was making me work for it, and I was making him work for it. It was so fabulous. And I got to say, well, I do not think I'm competitive.
Oh, it brought out the I will tell you are not competitive. I've seen you in action not being competitive.
Thank you.
So I wish I'd have saw this.
That.
Yeah.
But some people think that I am competitive. I can assure you they think that. But I don't think I am. I just like to have fun. I don't mind losing. I just like to have fun. And I got to tell you, it made my Friday.
How did these people get so good at ping pong?
Oh, so the guy that I was playing with, he was like, I played in a tournament not too long ago.
You know, it's a thing now. Like there are ping pong places, bars throughout Chicago.
Yeah,
now.
and I love, I only been to one.
There's one like near your job.
Yeah. I can't wait to go there now. Now that I'm in.
I feel like I took you there once, but we only drank.
We went to a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that. Okay, I can't wait. But how was your week?
It was good. I didn't do anything that exciting. My mom's gone. She flew back home. So I've been, trying to get my health back on track, eating vegetables.
Did you eat those carrots?
You never brought me any carrots.
Ooh.
You gave me some sweet pickles in a jar, which I did eat. Thank you.
And carrots.
You didn't give me carrots.
I put carrots in the bag with the pickles.
With the pickles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll make some carrot soup out of them then. I love Moroccan carrot soup.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's been my week. Just eating vegetables and trying to undo all the damage my mom has done with her excellent home cooking. Trying to clean for myself now.
Meat on meat.
Meat on meat. She was so sweet. She cleaned for us while she was here. It was like a maid.
I want one of those.
So we gotta wash our own dishes now and clean our apartment.
It's back to normal.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
But anyway, this book that we're featuring this week is all about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And we're going to bypass our theme of the week because this book is the theme of the week. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway. What does that mean and how can we do it? Before we proceed, Alexis, can you tell us a little something about Susan Jeffers?
Let me get started. Okay. Susan, she got married at 18, right? She had a son and a daughter, but couldn't settle down as a suburban housewife.
Okay.
And she started being increasingly unhappy and bad-tempered. She told interviewers that what she was missing was a life. Okay?
Well, she got married at 18 and had kids. Yeah. I can see that.
So breaking from pre-feminist convention, she went to university, took up the degree and a doctorate in psychology, and then felt the fear, quote,
Of progressing in her career or something.
And then left her husband of 16 years as her career was taken off. Mm-hmm. She divorced, took the children, but 6 months later, while she was away at summer camp, she called her ex-husband and said, you know, hon, I think I'm leaving the house today and everything in it is yours, including the children. Sorry to this man. Yeah.
Who told this story? She told this story? Mm-hmm. She gave up her children?
Quotes. These are quotes behind these thoughts, yes. Okay. Her divorce has been said to be one of the most empowering experiences of her life because it pushed through the pain and found her own independence, because she pushed through the pain and found her independence. Out of this birthed the book, Feel the Fear.
I'm sorry, why did she leave the kids?
I think everybody was holding her back.
Okay.
So she doesn't explain that, but I got a little more.
Okay, please.
Okay, so.
Because I'm going to need an explanation.
So there's no explanation for that, honestly. So anyway, she decided she's going to write this book, and she had trouble finding a publisher. She got a rejection letter that said Lady Di could be bicycling nude down the street giving this book away and nobody would read it.
I heard that. I thought that was a little extreme. Like,
that is extreme. That is extreme.
Just mean.
But her first book was published in 1987. That is Feel the Fear. And it sold 15 million copies in 100 countries, including 1 million in the UK. It's held as a classic feminist literature and a call.
This is feminist, arms. This book. So I really think perhaps that title is placed on this book because the author is a woman. If a man had written this book, it would not be a feminist,
Entirely.
Guide.
So, and it's considered a call to arms for women not to be held down by tradition or paralyzed by that tradition of but get a life, get a career.
Outside of the home.
Outside of the home, yeah. She actually has written 17 other books, self-help related. Mm-hmm. So that's my thoughts on her.
Thank you. I'm still hung up on leaving your kids and calling your husband like, hey, I think everything in the house is yours, including the kids.
Because initially she took the kids and left, and she's like, well, I'm going to go. I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay. Wish you had told me that before I read this book. Well, can you give us a synopsis of the book?
Sure. I'm going to make it really brief. What stops you from progressing? What fears do you hold? Susan Jeffers has the answer and invites you to take a deep dive into the dynamic techniques for overcoming your fears and living the life where you can say, I can handle anything.
Thanks. We're going to take a break now. So let's take a deep dive into this self-help book by Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Can you tell us about it?
Okay, sure. I like self-help books. I just want to start by saying that I usually pick ones that focus on goals and, personal achievement and whatnot, achieving your goals. But this one, fears, let's focus on it. And I'll take it from the top because she starts with the fact that there are 3 levels of fears. The first level is broken up into 2 types. Though fears that happen and those that require
sorry, my cat sneezed.
Those that require action. Fears that happen are things like aging, becoming disabled, children leaving home. Those requiring action are making decisions, changing a career, losing weight, and ending a relationship. Mm-hmm. So the next level of fear is relating to your inner state of mind. So how you respond to the fear. And so that
involves your ego.
Mm-hmm. Rejection. So if I'm responding to aging, I may reject that and act out in some way, right? Mm-hmm. If my concern is losing weight, then I may be afraid of the success of what that looks like, how my life would change.
That's real. Mm-hmm.
Being vulnerable and then helplessness. The next level of fears is really a description. And it says, at the bottom of every one of our fears is simply the fear that you can't handle whatever life may bring. So you have to decide that whatever happens to you, given any situation, you can handle it. Yeah. And so I like that part for sure.
I do too.
So then she identified 5 truths about fear. 1, that fear will never go away. 2, the only way to get rid of fear is to go out and do it. 3, the only way to feel better about yourself is to go out and do it.
So what? That felt really redundant. So the first one is that we'll always face fears, basically.
Right.
And the second is to get rid of those individual fears, we must act despite them as they come at us. And then what's number 3?
This is similar.
Okay.
And in order to feel better about yourself, you're going to have to go out and do it.
Okay. And as you build up this bank of fears you've overcome, you'll feel better about yourself overall.
Yeah. Accomplishments make you feel that way.
That makes sense.
And then everyone experiences fear in unfamiliar territory, and pushing through fear is better than feeling helpless. So if everyone feels fear when approaching something new in life, still so many people are
out here winning.
Are out there and there's no problem. They don't have a problem with it.
Or no, despite fear. Everyone feels fear, but still there are successful people in the world. So how's it happening?
It's because it relates to how we hold fear. And some people hold it as a paralysis, and some people use it it's irrelevant and they push past it and do whatever.
Or they use it as motivation.
So some hold fear from a position of power. That's choice, energy, action. Those are the people that use it to motivate them to success, right?
Okay.
And then some people hold it from a position of pain, where they're helpless, they're depressed, they're paralyzed with fear. Okay. And when we're talking about fear, we're not talking about phobias. I hope that should help a little
Although
bit.
one of her anecdotes does involve someone with phobias.
It does.
But overall, that's not this.
This is not the intent.
Okay.
So, and we've talked about power previously and how it can have negative connotations, or we know that people abuse power because power implies control over others. And again, it's misused. But she's referring to a power that's within self. And so over our perceptions of the world, the power of our reactions, our personal growth, how we create joy, power, and our satisfaction with life. It has nothing to do with anybody else but ourselves.
This is not a book that's trying to show us how to exercise power or control of others. It's all about taking responsibility for yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And she reiterates that in the book, I think in many of her chapters where she talks about taking responsibility. And I feel like I do that in a lot of things.
Yeah, I think so.
She makes a special note to women as she talks about it because they have a conflict with femininity and power.
Some women
do, yes.
Yeah.
And then she suggests an antidote for that, and that is repeating 25 times in the morning, noon, and night the following.
Okay, so as we review this book, we're going to play the notes we made as we applied Susan's advice throughout the week. And I'm going to start with powerfulness. So according to Susan, this means power over my perceptions of the world, power over how I react to situations in my life, power to do what is necessary for my own self-growth, power to create joy and satisfaction in my life, power to act, and power to love. She's told me that as a woman, if I have any inner conflict between power and femininity, then I should repeat 25 times a day these 3 sentences. 1, I am powerful and I am loved. 2, I am powerful and I am loving. 3, I am powerful and I love it. I ain't doing this. First of all, I don't have an inner conflict between femininity and power. I think femininity can be very powerful. So this part doesn't apply. But then also, I am someone who believes my strength comes from my God. So I'm weak, but I'm not vulnerable or stupid or inferior. And I accept my weakness without denying my worth. Well, I mean, this is a self-help book, so she can't talk about God. But yeah, I don't think we just have to rely on ourselves for our power. So that's that.
I am powerful and I am loved. I am powerful and I am loving. I am powerful and I love it. I am powerful and I am loved. I am powerful. So listen, I did it.
Right.
All right. I did it. And it's not because I feel like I have a problem with femininity.
No, it's because you're a team player.
I just wanted to. This was the first like activity, and I wanted to do it, so I did it.
So how'd that make you feel? Powerful?
I can't say that I felt powerful after it, but it was only the first time. So
how long did it take you?
It took like a whole 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I used that as a guide because it was hard to count and say it at the same time.
Oh, yeah,
I was really struggling.
How do you know you're doing it 20? You need a little clicker.
Yeah. So I was saying, and then
click
with my finger. And then when I thought I did 5, I was like, 5. Anyway, don't diminish my work.
Okay.
So she describes pain to power as a continuum. So she suggests making a chart and identifying where you fall on the chart. So I made one. So here was my chart. And I feel like I don't have a problem with pain. I feel like I'm at the
power end of it.
I'm very close at the power end of it.
Each issue that you face in life, she believes you start on that left side, on the pain side, and gradually you move to that power side. So it's not about where you are in life. You feel though,
yeah, because it's a daily thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying though, with the projects you have in front of you now, you're on that power side.
Yeah. I don't really start at a place of pain.
And personal goals too. You're on the power side.
Yeah.
You start on the power side.
Yeah. I started at the close end. There's some struggle, but I'm really trying to get to that other power end. So I'm just one notch away, and I need help getting over that punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So another thing that she said is avoiding words such as I can't, I should.
I love this.
It's a problem. Life's a struggle. Instead, say things like I won't, I could. It's an opportunity. Life's an adventure. And then each night before you go to bed, plan your risk for the next day. And when she talks about risks, she's not talking about physically dangerous acts or infringing on the rights of others.
Right. Maybe you are afraid of that big presentation that you have due tomorrow, or you have chosen to run instead of 4 miles, 5 miles, and you don't know if you can do it. Picture yourself accomplishing those goals the night before.
So she says, plan it out for the next day. Close your eyes, practice doing it. And as you go through it, be aware that where you can find yourself hesitating, and then you can start to kind of make plans around that for future risk. And then push through hesitation when you can and recognize that moment when you do. The goal is to expand your comfort zone.
One thing I want to repeat that she says in this chapter is, no one is more unloving than a person who can't own his or her own power. I thought that was an excellent statement. We've seen it played out in life where people try to get out of you what they should be giving themselves.
Right.
This validation. So such people spend their lives trying to pull it out of everyone else.
Yes. So. What did you think about her comment where she said, your subconscious believes only what it hears, not what is true?
She put a lot of weight into what we hear, even if it comes out of our own mouths. Now, there's a scripture about reading in an undertone, and that really means that we have to say some things out loud for it to penetrate our hearts. So I can't deny the value of listening. I mean, I know you hate audiobooks, but listen, apparently what we hear affects us profoundly.
I do,
even if we hear it out of our own mouths. And I mean, I it's like something that I want to say is tomfoolery, borrowing a statement from your mom. But,
oh my God.
But I can't, because it's fact. It's fact, right? What we hear affects us greatly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So this next chapter, I really didn't dabble in it. And not that I'm really going chapter by chapter, but at the beginning, her chapter, she had these little quotes on them. And they're really cool. Like chapter 4 was whether you want it or not, it's yours. And you're in control. You're in control. So did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, boy, did I.
Okay, so I'm in chapter 4, whether you want it or not, it's yours. And I am loving it. So a few of the points she makes are to take responsibility means never blaming anyone else for anything I am being, doing, having, or feeling. It means not blaming even myself to a degree, not being overly critical of myself for poor choices or results. instead learning from them and taking control. It also means being aware of where and when I am not taking responsibility so that I can change. And then taking responsibility means silencing that voice in my head that's negative. So the focus of this chapter is taking responsibility. And I love that because I don't want to be a victim. I want to make sure I am taking responsibility for the choices I make and the results of those choices.
My favorite chapter was the Pollyanna chapter.
Okay, cool.
And it was about positivity. And, you know, so she gave 6 steps to be more positive, and it starts with a daily routine. So here's the routine. She gave a beginner's intensive for positive thinking. And she said, when you wake up, turn on your audio machine.
Whoa, what year was this book written? What is an audio machine?
I feel very
Sonos?
strongly that this is a period piece.
From a period piece.
Because so many of the things she references takes you back to the 80s.
Antiquated,
seriously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she says, turn on your audio machine and press play. So because you picked out some affirmation or some reflection recording from somewhere. Okay. And she says, play that, lie there, close your eyes, and let the powerful and loving thoughts sink in. Okay. Get out of bed. Pay attention to the positive quotes you've surrounded yourself with. So
unlike sticky notes or something you've put everywhere, or what?
It is sticky notes.
Okay. So you've written positive statements and stuck them to your bedroom mirror, your television, your bathroom medicine cabinet.
All of that.
Yeah.
I did all of that.
This is actually something I hear often, a pretty widely accepted strategy for positive thinking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
I'm
so,
with it.
as you get out of bed, play some music, or excuse me, as you dress, play some music that makes your heart sing. As you dress, repeat your affirmations you've chosen for the day. She says, no TV, no news, no radio.
So I thought she took it a little far now. I mean, do you watch the news?
I watch the news every morning.
Alexis.
Every single morning
That
at
is so
7.
disappointing.
I make sure that I turn the TV on at exactly 7 o'clock so that I can hear the 90-minute round the world.
Wow.
Okay. There's
you don't do W words. World.
That thing. So I can hear that 90-minute clip. And so, yeah, that was really difficult.
But don't you
for
find
me.
the news to be very negative, sensationalized,
I feel like
and unuseful?
I feel like I'm not current if I don't listen
But
to
you
the
can
news.
always read the news. Now, Susan says don't even read the paper, but I do feel like she went too far in that. You do have to know what's going on in the world and where mankind is, headed. But you don't have to watch it. The news is violent, it's graphic, and it's depressing. That's how they make their money. You can read it. In like the Skim, the newsletter I know you and I both subscribe to, it gives you world news on one page in your email box every day. I love that. I take 5 minutes to read it and I'm about my business.
Well, I'll try to do that because as I went the week, I did not watch the news. I did feel some type of way about it.
You felt better, or
I
you
can't
felt
say
some
I
type
felt
of
better. I missed the news.
You missed it. Okay, let me shut up. Go
I
ahead
missed
then
the
watch your news.
And she said,
Sad.
if you exercise, say some exercise affirmations. So I did that.
Okay, cool.
I can feel the energy coursing through my body.
Any static stretches because you're not ready. Not yet.
I am creating a beautiful day. I can feel the energy.
Okay, so this is you doing your exercises in the morning and repeating your positive affirmations
I
while
had
doing
to repeat them. And
Good
I
for you,
didn't
girl.
feel the energy, but I did say it.
You didn't feel like it was improving your mood?
No, I was tired. It was too, I'm going to say this. This was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was really exhausting. I woke up, I listened to this clip on YouTube that I found for like 11 minutes and I laid there. and it was making me tired. So I would fall back to sleep. And then I would get up.
Oh, yeah. I'm not waking early to hear somebody say something positive to me. Oh, that sounds crazy. I would rather dream about it.
I was supposed to begin my day early and, just kind of get started. But I was so exhausted after doing that. I had to take a nap before I could get up and get dressed.
Oh, there's too much positivity. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed.
It was the worst. But anyway.
I played some original songs in the morning, something positive.
I did that too.
And that
was great.
Really, I have to say, music touches me in a way nothing else does. And I felt like that helped me carry positivity with me all day long. No, I will say that was awesome.
That is the best part of it. That alone is the best part of it. So she also says, listen to affirmations as you go to work. Look for positive messages that you've placed. So you would have made some sticky notes, and I did that. And she said, pick an affirmation and write it in your diary. Give yourself a fix throughout the day. And my fix is repeating the 25 Power to Femininity quote. I am powerful and I am loving.
Though? How long does that take you to do?
It takes a whole 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, I did it, but it was struggle. I couldn't do it in the middle of the day. I kept forgetting about it. So, but I tried.
That's for people who don't think women can be powerful. You're not that person.
No, I'm not.
But you were doing it because Susan said do it, and you're trying it out. Okay, cool.
I think it was part of my positivity thing. Positivity. Yeah. And then she said, before you go to bed, put on a relaxation tape.
Spotify makes great playlists for relaxation. They have an ambiance one, a sleep time one. You don't like those?
I don't think so.
Have you tried Calm, the sleeping app, or the relaxation and meditation app?
YouTube has all of these. I could just hit that.
So cheap.
I am. Not really, but I am.
But you could get like different types of thunderstorms.
I can
Calm.
get that on YouTube.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
Okay.
So I did that for several days. And so let me just let you get some of my reflections from the first day. So we're at the end of my first day. I started the day with the morning affirmations. I woke up and immediately turned on my morning affirmations and listened to those. And then as I got up and went to the bathroom, I read all the affirmations on my TV or positive expressions. And then I went in the bathroom and I had some more positive expressions. And then I played some uplifting music this morning. And I felt like it was, I had an air of positivity upon me today. And I thought about being positive. It was like constantly on my mind. Even my day, I'm usually consumed with work, but reflections of positivity came to me. And so when I had a call today, and I feel like normally I would have an air of irritation, I didn't have that irritation. I instead had an air of positivity. So that's day one, and we'll see what the next few days brings.
So you had some positive affirmations in the bathroom? Is that code?
No, it's not code. Okay. I actually had some sticky notes on the mirror.
Yeah. Clarification. Okay. Well, I also was trying to be positive, and it went a little something like this. Okay, so in the Pollyanna chapter, Susan emphasizes how many see negative thinking as authentic and real, and being positive or quote unquote overly positive is seen as inauthentic. So in a work environment, I made an effort to change a negative conversation into a positive one. And it was rebuffed because, first of all, I just came out and was like, hey, you guys, let's stop being negative and start being positive. That's not how you do it. And second of all, someone told me, to Susan's point, we're not being negative, we're just being real. So it's easy to think that negativity is equated with authenticity. It is not. So my goal now is to be positive, but not to rebuke someone for being negative. Instead, acknowledge their feelings
and authentically or naturally steer negative conversations into positive ones. We'll see how it goes.
So I was dismissing the feelings of others, and I don't want people to dismiss how I feel about things, right?
No.
Everyone wants their feelings validated because all of our feelings are valid. So what I'm going to do on a continuous basis is still try to be positive and be an agent for positivity and unification wherever I am. But acknowledge people's feelings and organically divert the conversation to one that is positive. But don't be like, hey, y'all, shut up. Let's be positive. Don't nobody want to hear that.
Nobody.
And then you just look like a jerk. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had that experience and enjoyed that positivity section. So as the first day ended, again, I felt positive. The next day, I did the same thing, but it went a little different. So just a little check-in. I'm at work. I'm wrapping up the day. And maybe because I didn't say my afternoon positivity, but I don't know if the positivity thing is working for me. I think I might quit already. Okay, bye. So that was day 2. I just didn't feel the same. I did my morning stuff. Everything. I didn't do the midday one, I said, but still, I was left feeling like, I'm ready to hurt somebody and say mean things.
And you were repeating these affirmations. And it was just making you angry. Serenity now.
Yes.
Don't explode.
It was rough. It was rough. But I did not give up, even though I said I was. I pushed forward to try to make the next day better. So
you did the same process. And she mentions that. She said it's not going to work for you every day. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just keep trying.
Yeah. So on my final day, I did the affirmations. I started the day out with everything. I read my sticky notes, breathe in, breathe out. This is going to be a beautiful day. And I got to say, that was like the best day ever.
Oh, cool.
I was participating in my volunteer work and I just felt like so accomplished that day. And just everything about it, my experiences that day were just really positive. So I really
Just to clarify, why do you think that day went so well for you?
Because I had a week's worth of positive aspirations under my belt.
Okay, because you've been repeating to yourself and hearing your own self say these positive statements, you think you ended the week on a positive note.
I think so.
But you also were taking action. You said you were volunteering, so you made sure to do something that mattered to you.
Yep.
And you put that first.
Yep, I did.
So, I mean, like, did you really need the affirmations?
I think you still do.
Okay.
I think that's still important. Even when you're volunteering, you still need to go in with a positive attitude.
Oof.
And your outlook about things needs to be bright. And so I had a cheerful take.
Because you can be doing an action that's positive with a bad attitude.
Absolutely.
You're right.
So you absolutely need some extra to boost. And I felt like this helped. So again, I took the positivity part the most out of this book. I loved it. And I won't keep the whole thing, like the power and femininity thing. That word.
Femininity. Yeah.
I won't keep doing it. It's not worth it.
You don't feel like women are unpowerful.
No, and it takes too long. I was rolling my eyes by the 15th time I said it.
I am powerful or whatever.
Exactly. So I was like, well, why did I say I was going to do this? And so I'm over that. Yeah. But anyway, I did find some gems in here and I just, I will definitely keep that. Did you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, so I do feel like with Susan Jeffers' help, and more importantly with my commitment to this book and to you and to this podcast, I tried to hop all in or dive all in on this, and I've started running again.
Okay, so I am taking responsibility for my health. I've been really tired lately, and not making sure I eat right and exercise regularly. I was about to run out of time. Today it's Saturday, but I am running at night and enjoying it. So I'm going to get 4 miles in today and 4 miles in tomorrow. Yay me! Okay, so I just got home from running 3.89 miles, and I feel powerful, to use a word that Susan uses pretty often. I feel invigorated. I'm going to run a bath, make a cocktail, study, read, and go to bed. And I feel like I deserve to. It's a good feeling. Yeah. Thanks, Susan.
So I felt like I was more conscious of my need to take responsibility for who I am. And that's always good.
Yeah, that is good.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Well, I'm glad you took that piece of it. There were just a few more things that she mentioned, and she talked about the whole life grid. Where some people,
I liked that point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that some people make one thing their whole life when it should be many
one thing
things.
that might involve someone else. So if that person decides no longer to be participating in, whether it's kids move out of their home or couples break up, what do you have after that relationship is over?
Nothing. And her visual of it was just great. You got relationship in a box, and then when that relationship is gone, that box is empty. You have nothing. And people really live their lives that way.
For sure.
So I really thought that was helpful. And then she had a part about giving thanks. So she said, make a list of the people.
Well, I want to go back, because the remedy to a life that only has one thing is to fill it with other things that are not contingent on others.
Right.
So whether it be a project you're passionate about, or a way to devote your time to others, giving to others, use every moment of your life to its full, and don't just make it about one person or one thing. And then if that relationship ends or your children move out, you still have a very full life.
Right. It's just one piece that can easily be filled in with something else. She has it put into a box of 9 squares.
Right.
And so it looks very different than an empty box.
Right.
Because there's no relationship. So I really like that. And then the other piece that I like was the idea of giving thanks, making a list of people presently in your life and significant ones from your past, and then list each one of them and how they've contributed to your life in a special way. And
I did that.
You did? Even if there was pain or you disliked them intensely, list their contributions to your life. And in the end, you can visualize a conversation with them and kind of move past that, or you could send them a letter or have a phone call with them.
And in her case, she called her ex-husband, had lunch with him, and told him, we didn't work out, but these are the ways that you made me happy in my life. And I thank you for that.
Yeah.
She really reiterated the point to say thank you to people. And I made a list of people I admire. And these are not people that I've made an effort to be around. Not all of them. So I'm going to make more of an effort to fill my life with the people who are reaching the goals I want to reach, or whose presence in my life is positive.
She did talk about briefly negative people, or how people see you doing better.
And letting them go. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think all of our relationships, in all of our relationships, one person needs the relationship more than the other. And that can go back and forth. Like in a marriage, there are times when I may need my husband more than he needs me immediately, and vice versa. In a friendship, sometimes, you never want to let someone else bring you down, right? Or divert you from fulfilling your purpose in life. But some people need you more than you need them. I do not think you turn your back on those people. You monitor your interactions with them so as to not depress yourself.
Exactly.
But you got to be there for people. That's not fair. You can't just leave your kids and tell your husband they your kids now. You can't do that. It's not right.
Well, so that was that was very interesting, insightful. So I think we should take a break.
Okay, yeah, great.
Other points that Susan expounded on in her book to fully round out this feel the fear thing, but I didn't feel like they applied to me. Okay. I didn't feel like I needed to use them.
Same.
So I just let them go. So I just focused on the positivity because that was stand out to me. Now, what are your final thoughts on the book, and would you recommend it?
So I went back and forth with this question. Would I recommend this book? Because there were points she made, especially about taking responsibility. And I don't think anything she said was groundbreaking, but seeing it on paper and repeating it to myself out loud, I do think did good. For example, I know I should run regularly because that's something I don't want my body to lose the ability to do. But that don't mean I'm going to do it. And I'm not a negative person, so I don't have a chatter box in my head going, you won't be able to. I have another box in my head going, girl, just relax. You deserve it. What I need is not a book that helps me to be more positive. I needed something that tells me to stop being so positive and be more realistic. I think that's where I fall on that scale.
The focus was about getting over fears.
I'm an extremely unfearful person. I don't have very many fears, and I think I could benefit from a couple.
Okay.
So Jeffers emphasizes at the end this listening to the direction of our higher selves. And she really preaches this gospel of the higher self being a spiritual part of each individual that appeals to a higher conscience she feels we all possess. And this higher self is the authority by which all of her advice is justified. So that's a problem to me, because that to me sounds like listening to where your heart leads you. And the heart is treacherous. It can be dangerous. So that that last chapter, those last two chapters really felt to me like bad advice. So for that reason, and because her advice kind of is contingent on that, that's a huge caveat to me, this listen to your higher self. And so for that reason, I would not recommend the book. Also, like I said, these thoughts are not groundbreaking to me. The idea that you feel the fear and do it anyway. We know that courage is action in the face of fear. That whole sentence is this book. You could say, I could tell somebody, hey, act despite fear to reach your goals. And 2, don't let negative thinking distract you from your goals. And that's the book. I feel like I'll save you about 300 pages. But so that's me. I would say I would not recommend this. But what did you think?
It's amazing. One day we're going to disagree.
We always agree.
Yeah. I went back and forth about this. I really did. I was like, well, maybe because I really like this part. And I was like, well, I mean, they can get that in another book, an even smaller book. And it's just,
this could have been a pamphlet.
Exactly. And I was like, no, I don't think I would recommend it, because there's so many aspects of the book that I didn't take. So,
if you go to a buffet and you only eat the shrimp, this wasn't a good buffet.
Not enough. I paid too much.
Yeah.
Did
you feel sorry for Susan?
In some ways,
I felt really sorry for her.
But then I also went back to, this is a period piece. She is talking to a group of women, a generation of people.
But I don't think my mom felt as helpless as she seemed to.
No.
At this time in her life.
I think she's talking to a certain group of people from a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And
we don't know those people.
I don't. And so it would have been helpful to them. So I wouldn't recommend it to anybody I know.
Okay, sis, I agree. One other point I want to make, talking about moms and people that are in your life, especially in your childhood. This book made me really thankful for people that you and I look to as grandparents who showed us love and direction in our youth. They made us feel like no matter what happened, and I'm including our parents in this, no matter what happened in our lives, we had a foundation to go back to. So we can make mistakes. Susan feels like there are no wrong mistakes. There are wrong mistakes, you guys. I mean, that's what a mistake is. It's a wrong choice. But it is always okay to make a wrong choice when you learn from it and take responsibility, which she does say, and I agree with. But there are wrong choices. Those do exist. But I was really grateful for the people in our lives who never made us feel helpless. Like, she wrote this book as someone who felt helpless at a time in her life. for other people who felt helpless. And that made me sad.
Yeah, that especially was sad. I was like, what was she going through in this generation of people? Because I really do
But
believe
people who feel helpless they should have nothing to be ashamed about. I don't want to sound like...
That's not what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's not the intention behind saying this.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's people today that can benefit from this book. I mean, it sold 15 million copies.
But we just don't know them.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Okay, so that was this episode of the Lit Society podcast. I must say I enjoyed it. It was a little shorter, but not by that much. We have a problem having short.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. We can't do short shows, guys. Sorry, we tried.
We did try.
Ooh. Okay, so next week we're reading another book, and it is called
The Warmth of Other Suns, The Epic Story of America's Great Migration by Isabel Wilkerson.
I think I'm getting that right.
I'm excited about that.
I mean, this has been on our list forever. Mm-hmm. I recommended this book, and it's taken me forever to get to it. So I'm happy we're finally able to get to it.
I don't know nothing about it, so I look forward to it.
Ditto. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Lit Society Podcast. You can hear Lit Society on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major podcast providers. Visit litsocietypod.com to sign up for the world's best free newsletter if you have not already. And until next time, read something. Please read it. Read it. Oh, God.